Alright guys, haven't made a video in a while, so we'll make one tonight with kind of an update. So I've been working on getting the driver's side wheel tub finished. And in order to do that, I've got to do outer wheelhouse extensions here. I have a seal that goes against the inside of the quarter panel, presses up against it, and then the wheel tub, which attaches to it and goes down here by the frame. I've widened it, cut it out there. These are wider wheel tubs, about 2.5, 3 inches, and then these are factory outer wheelhouse extensions that will press up against the quarter panel. So I started to do that last week, or this weekend, and I ran into a problem because you see down here that really nasty looking piece of galvanized steel that's just kind of flopping in the breeze there. Well, it's had the same thing happening over here and over here, and this seal can't press up against that and seal with all that stuff going on down there. So forced me to have to do some exterior body work to fix that up before I can put these in place. So that's where we are right now. Tonight I'm going to be patching up this one here. I ground this all out. You can see this tin that's just been literally pop riveted into it, and then just slathered with a whole ton of mud. You can see how much filler is here. I don't even know if there's any metal left behind that. It's very rotten. As you can see, the lower rockers need to be replaced, but I don't have those right now, so I'm not going to worry about it. I'm just going to do enough to get where the wheel arch goes, where the inner wheelhouse goes, right through here. I'm just going to fix this spot, and then I'll deal with the rest, which continues more of the same all the way along there. Eventually I'll just put rockers on it. I already did inner rockers, now I guess I got to do outers at some point. But for tonight, this is the project. So that's what we're going to be working on. That's the latest update. I'll update you here in a bit once I get some things cut. Alright, chopped out a huge section. It still needs to go further up, but I'm not going to do it right now. You see this? That's filler. Check out the cross section of this piece. The metal mysteriously stops and then picks up barely down here at this bottom, and you can see that it's just filler in the middle. So that's what goes along here. So somebody already just decided to patch it with filler to begin with, but you can see my repairs from earlier within here, and I can weld this now better than I had before. Anyway, so I got that cleaned up. I'm just going to patch this hole right here. I'm going to leave this open until I can finish the rest of that. So, took my piece, laid it onto here. I'm cutting a little bit bigger, about a 1/2 inch all the way around it, so I can do a cut and butt on it. You can see how nice this was. So there's a hole up here that they patched with filler also. It's just an old piece of tin that they just pop riveted in and mudded it all up. Who knows how long ago this was done? Maybe it lasted for 40 years for all I know. Probably could have done the same thing, just mudded over it again, but I'm gonna fix it right with that. So anyway, that's where we are. About to cut this piece out and then start forming it. Okay, I'll show you what I got going on here. So I cut a piece out, sanded it down per Fitzy's Fabrications methodology, and then sort of bent it into submission. I put a piece of pipe in my vise and hooked it in here so I could get kind of more of a rolled edge on that one, so it's not such a sharp bend. And then quite literally bent this thing around my leg and used this on the ground to kind of roll it this way to essentially put a nice contour on it that fits here mostly. I am going to tuck this behind just barely on the bottom because I need to be able to make this contour out of Bondo, and if that steel's too flat there, I won't be able to really do it without building up a lot. So anyway, I'm going to tuck it behind just barely, put a beetle on that edge right there so I can contour along this bottom edge here so I can contour it with some Bondo. It's going to come up here, it fits this side, and then it's going to go overlap at the top, and then I'm going to do just the cut and butt along here. So I'll just slice it, I'll just tack weld it on around the edges, slice it off and press it in flat so it's flush, so it'll be butt welded all the way across the top with just a tiny bit of overlap at the bottom, which I will not worry about at all. And then any bit of final contouring and shaping is going to happen with mud. So anyway, that's where we are. I'm going to weld this thing in and sand it down, and we'll call it good enough for tonight. Okay, so here's step one of that whole process. See, I just hit it, I tucked it beside just barely, so it's kind of overlap, but it's not even overlapping here. It's only overlapping right here in this corner, so I can have some depth to this to fill with mud, shape it. It's going to be butted right along here, and you can see it starts to overlap here, and all up around here. This is all overlapped. This is just sitting on top by about a ½ inch on the inside, and I just tacked it straight to it. I got a nice fit along here. Contour is really good, nice and tight. So all I'm going to do is just buzz this with a zip disc up to about here, press it in so that it's flush, and then tack it again. And then just cut along here, press it till it's flush, tack it. And then just keep working my way up and around where you cut it, push it in, tack it where it's flush. And then when you're done, you have a strip on the inside that you just pull out. And I'll kind of show you what that looks like when it gets there. But I think it'll work. For now, it'll be perfect because it'll give me a nice surface on the inside that my wheel arch, my inner wheelhouse can go to that, and then I'll worry about filling that other when I can, you know, when I feel like finishing the rest of this whole piece right here. But anyway, that's where we are. I'll start the cutting button, bring it back down. So here's a quick little example on how the cutting button works. As you cut it, you can see this is now flush, 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 and I just cut this corner up here free, so now I can just push it back. So you can just push it in. I don't know if you can see that. You can just push that back like that so that it's flush, and then tack it in. And instead of having it stick out proud like that, now it can be flush. And I just weld it, tack weld it along there. So you can see right here I haven't cut yet. So there's still a big lip right there, but I can push this corner back in and make it flush. Tack that corner in flush, and then keep cutting along here and here. And you can see this side here I've already done, so this is all flush cut. And you can see where I stopped cutting right there, where now it's still overlapped. So from here down, all flush, and here up still overlapped. So we cut it at a 45-degree angle, and then when they come together, it's a really thin, you can see it's a super thin gap to fill because they almost come together. They're closer than if you would put the blade straight when you cut it this way and then press it down flat. So I just got to finish cutting up here, and then I'll finish cutting along the top and press it down in flat, and it'll all be butted in, and then I can finish tacking it all around and dress it all up. And I'm less concerned about this because the reality is I'm going to cut these corners anyway, which is probably going to go from here up and around, so this little spot right here is going to be less important in the grand scheme of things anyway. So anyway, one more step. So what's cool about this whole thing is when you make the last cut, like I did along the top here, it literally springs itself into position where it's all flush. Because the rest of it is flush now along here, it's springing inward this way. And you can see now, that's nice. That's going to be a nice flush. And you can see how tight that gap is up there at the top. It's literally no gap. I cut it at an angle, and so when it lays flat, it goes down into that nice angle real well. You can see it lays nice and flush now. And then what you're left with on the inside is kind of cool. I'm going to reach, I don't know if you can see this, but I'm going to reach back in here and pull this out. This is the piece that we cut out on the inside. So that's how much it was overlapped. The piece I cut was bigger than the hole by that much, and so when I zip cut it along the edge, you're left with this. This comes out the inside, and it's way faster than trying to cut this piece and trim it and grind it and trim it and grind it and trim it and grind it and try and make it fit this hole. It's way faster just to overlap it, tack it on the edges, zip cut it, push it down in flush, and then just pull that piece out. Not my move. Fitzy's Fabrications. Dude's a genius. But anyway, got to give it to him on this one for a nice way to do it. So pretty quick way to make that repair. I just got to finish tacking it in now, grind it smooth, and Really won't take much filler at all up here in this section. It's going to be nice. Down here it'll be some shaping, but I'm going to trim this. I'm going to cut these quarters anyway, so all good. 200 tack welds later, we're almost getting there. You can see I still have some gaps you gotta do. Gotta fill. But you just gotta take it nice and slow so it doesn't warp it all to pieces. And let it cool as you go, cool it down, whatever. But you can see it's gonna be nice. It's gonna be nice. It won't take much filler at all. Sand it down, skim coat it, block it out, come out real nice. Okay, there it is. All done. You kind of see how it came out. It's pretty good if you ask me. It's a little low right there, which is actually perfect. A bug on me. Okay, here it is, all finished. Came out real nice. It's nice and flat across there. Came out real good. Of course, you know, I'll fill and I'll skim coat and block it all out, and yeah, it'll be real nice. I see the contour. I shrunk it a little bit around the welds, just slightly, which is actually good because you don't want it to be proud there, because then you can't really block it out flat with filler. You have to spread the whole area so it'll be easier to smooth that way. But I am happy with that. It serves its purpose well. It's going to allow me then to get in here. I'm going to go inside of here. You can kind of see it from the back side. Not lapped anywhere. And it's going to let me put in the continue on with my wheel tub repair. So anyway, there you go. Not bad for homegrown.